Back everyone to Open Line. As we deal with all that we're dealing with, tonight we are focusing on education. And there are so many questions surrounding education, closed schools. What does it mean for students, for teachers, certainly for parents? And there are a lot of questions up in the air. The governor has recommended schools stay closed through April 24th. We have with us Dr. Penny Schwinn. She is the commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Education. She's joining us via Zoom. Thank you for being here. You've answered a bunch of questions off the top, but I want to take it now to the callers. And let's go to Mary Elena. Mary Elena, hello.
Yes, hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes.
Good evening.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I have a quick question. So my son goes to a Davidson County school. He's a sixth grader. And we are very lucky that two of his teachers took upon themselves and the initiative to do some online instruction while all of this is going on. So he has like 2 classes a day and some homework from those 2 teachers. But we haven't even heard back from the principal or the assistant principal. We don't know anything else except for these 2 teachers. I also have some neighbors whose kids go to private school, and they have a full schedule of online classes. And I'm wondering, is this not something that we can do in public schools to keep the kids going and learning while we are in this mandate kind of stay at home period? And we parents have to keep working from home, and we don't, at least I don't want my child to be watching TV and playing video games all day long while I have to work. So is this something that has been considered to do some online instruction and maybe have all the schools make some arrangements so the kids can continue learning?
Okay, Marilena, thank you. That's a great question. So you heard the question. Kids go to private school. They have a full schedule of online classes. She says two teachers have sent things home for her 6th grader, but others have not. What do you have to say about where we are there?
Yeah, Mary Elena, I appreciate that question, and I can understand the frustration there. I think one of the things that we're doing, and I'll talk about 2 different components of this. So one is every local district is treating this slightly different. We've got some great examples across the state. Putnam County created a virtual meeting platform and online education opportunities for the students in their district. In Franklin Special, they've distributed tablets and computers as well as learning packets in the rain as late as yesterday. And I think we've seen examples of that across the state. Now that we are in extended period of closure, the original closure was through March 31st. Now that we've got essentially a month of closure ahead of us, the department is taking a more active role in helping to ensure that families will have access to instructional materials for a full day during this period of closure if the district is not able to provide that. So something that we're super excited about is on April 6th, we are launching a partnership with PBS affiliates across the state. What that will do is it provides 6 hours of programming. It'll be 30 minutes of English language arts and 30 minutes of math every single day for 1st through 7th graders. That'll be available online as well as on PBS, and we'll be giving the station information and times out shortly. But what that does is 30 minutes of instruction given by a Tennessee teacher as if the child's in the classroom. There will be packets that you can either download. Many of our districts will be printing them and sending them back to you. So that gives students 2 full hours of instruction for English language arts and math every day. Something else that we're doing as a department is we will have a parent toolkit that will be up by tomorrow. And what that will do is it will provide you with a sample daily schedule of what you can do with your child at home, especially for those families who are also working at home and having to essentially manage 2 full-time jobs at the same time. I certainly feel for those families. I'm in the same boat. And so for that, we will have a sample daily schedule. It will provide blocks of time in terms of here's what you can do for English language arts, for math, science, social studies, art, music, etc. And online, the Department of Education, in our parent toolkit, again, that will go live tomorrow, that will have a ton of open resources that are available. So if you go online tomorrow, you'll be able to see what that schedule looks like, and it will have links directly to those open resources that will give you that schedule for the day. The other thing that we'll be launching is an online tool, and that will provide additional free resources available to families, and a cadence in terms of how you should be spending time with your students each and every day. So again, hear that concern. I've heard it from a number of families. The department is working very closely with PBS, as I said, but also a number of folks who are providing free open access resources online. We are now organizing that information, and we'll have it in bite-sized chunks. They're available for families, again, in our toolkit tomorrow. That's at tn.gov/education. And I think I just want to underscore the importance of ensuring that children across the state can access it, whether or not they have access to internet. We are providing it on television as a way to accommodate that, as well as on the radio for those families who don't have access to TV or the internet. So a lot of different ways to get to it. We're putting all of it online, and we'll start to really push it out to districts so they can provide those same opportunities, because I appreciate how many of our families are so committed to their children's education and want to make sure that they don't miss a beat. So thank you for the question, and we're excited to be able to partner with so many folks to get this done.
So this is one of those things that, again, varies from district to district. And I believe Davidson County is concerned that there are a lot of children that might not have access to computer equipment or the internet or whatever. And so they're not mandating, as I understand it, they're not mandating that students have online classes. There's some teachers that are proactively providing that, but there's no mandate. Let's just take Davidson County. It sounds like it's a county by county thing, but is that right? There's no mandate that teachers come up with some sort of online class in every county across the state. It's up to the county to decide that. And in Davidson County, there's concern that if they did that, there are a lot of students who wouldn't be able to follow along. Is that right? Or what would you say to that question?
Yeah, we've been getting some questions that are similar to that. The vast majority of counties and districts across the state are providing access to academic opportunities at home. You have, I think, a similar county, Hamilton County, also identified that a number of students didn't have access to internet or online instruction. They've partnered with local businesses to provide free Wi-Fi to families. We have a number of districts. Murfreesboro, not too far away, gave out 2,500 books and partnered with local police, fire, and city officials to be able to hand out backpacks of supplies, math manipulatives, and work at home. Parents were able to pick that up in a drive-through setting, and they used that local law enforcement and city officials to be able to actually drop those off individually at student homes. So again, we're seeing a ton of creativity across the state in terms of providing every single student with access to instruction in some way, shape, or form. As a department, we've been so thrilled with the creativity that we're seeing. We've been able to take that, package it, use additional ideas to ensure that children, regardless of where they live, can have access to that level of instruction. So again, a couple of things I want to make sure that families hear what their options are. We will have a sample daily schedule as well as best practices for consistency for families. We will ensure that children have access to that English language arts and math instruction at least an hour every day, either through online classes that we are providing that will also be on the PBS affiliate, so will also be broadcast on television and will be broadcast on the radio, so students will be able to access it regardless of where they live. We are also providing open access to free resources for art, music, science, and social studies. Another thing I want to flag is on our website, there is a section specifically for IT. The department over the last month has been negotiating with the 4 biggest providers and been able to negotiate pretty significantly reduced rates, including free hotspots. And there are links to that for families to go to. You can click a link, register for Wi-Fi. The provider will actually send you a local hotspot that will be free access for 2 months. Again, to be able to provide folks with data. We know that many families have cell phones, but they don't have data plans that will certainly allow for online instruction. So these hotspots will help to relieve that burden. One of the other things I just want to mention is the department has regional offices available, and many of our districts have been partnering with our regional offices to be able to talk through what a distance learning plan would look like. And again, I'll call out some really, really great examples. Anderson County has a virtual art class And we've been seeing some great stuff in places like Clinton City, Cleveland City, Sumner County. Again, all very, very different backgrounds, but have been able to create really robust learning plans for families and students, so that
what are you
regardless
saying
of where
to Davidson County?
Yeah.
Are you wishing they did more? Are you communicating with them? Obviously, they're a huge district, and they have some huge challenges. What is the state saying to Davidson County?
So for Davidson County, we're having the same conversations we're having with other districts around what those opportunities are. We recognize that there are a number of challenges, certainly with tornadoes and with the pandemic. Now that the governor made his announcement yesterday for the April 24th closure, we'll be having much more targeted conversations for those districts who are still looking to find solutions. We expect that to happen over the next week. And certainly for those districts who are unable or will not be providing access to academic opportunities for students, the state will.
And all right, so let's say there's a district, you mentioned, I think Franklin, there's a district where there is online learning. Is that counted toward a grade, or is that just to kind of keep the skills sharp? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's county by county. We do know that some districts are collecting the materials back. Teachers are grading those. That becomes a lot easier in an online environment where that's already set up. In others, it's just to make sure that students, as you said, keep their skills sharp. They're doing a lot of review of what was already taught. So it's a local decision in terms of what they're doing for grading the materials. We certainly encourage, if there is a way to give students that real-time feedback, that is critically important to the learning process. We also understand it's going to look different for different places, but right now it's how do we get those academic materials to kids and make sure that they have the support they need to do that work. One thing we are doing to provide that support, the state is setting up a homework hotline, and that will also go live on April 6th. We know there are families who, especially as you get to the older grades, it's really hard to help your children with homework, and so we want to make sure that if children need assistance with completing the assignments that are either available through the state or through their district, that they have a hotline they can call and someone on the other end who can help walk them through that. So that's another way we're giving real-time feedback to students, even if they can't be in classrooms with their teachers.
Okay, all right, I will not ask more questions here. We're going to take a break, and then I'm going to take a lot of calls, so I promise. We'll take your calls. Several lines open. If you want to call in, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.